Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya English. Indian Army works differently, but the CRPF and JNK police were pretty much under the Lieutenant Governor of the state. Aren't you responsible for Pulwama? One criminal, Atiq Ahmed, dies. And so, a special VIP helicopter of the Pakistani army comes and takes this man who's accused of blasphemy. They take him away to safety. Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. So ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I spoke about Lieutenant Governor Satyapal Malik, former Lieutenant Governor of JNK, and what he said about Pulwama. There have been bouquets and brickbats. But at the same time, there were some Khap panchayats who in the past, obviously because they're comprised of farmers, they've supported the farmer agitation, and the same Khap panchayats have supported Satyapal Malik also, which is good. And he is projecting himself as a farmer leader, probably trying to prepare for elections. I don't know the protocol about governors and lieutenant governors fighting elections, whether they should not, cannot. I'm not aware of that. But what Satyapal Malik is doing is blatantly political, and I'll prove it to you now. Here is a Khap that has supported him. This Khap panchayat has supported Satyapal Malik, and this is called the Sarvajatiya Khandela Cup. Now, the Sarvajatiya Khandela Cup says that, we are with you, carry on, you have exposed the truth about Pulwama. And this same Sarvajatiya Khandela Cup, now look at the other news clipping that I have for you, and this is from 4th of February 2021. This same Sarvajatiya Khandela Cup supported this guy, Rakesh Taket. You remember Rakesh Taket, the person who started crying and all that in Delhi and during the farmers' agitation, and he said that, please help me, please support me, and the farmers came and they got emotional and stuff like that. Yeah. So, a lot of these Khap panchayats, and this is a request, with all due respect to the Khap panchayats, you were responsible for instilling that belief in Rakesh Taket falsely, that he could become the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. And this is what Rakesh Taket was saying, that this time BJP is out, this time Yogi Adityanath is out, I'm going to be the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. And today, that man is roaming around in oblivion. There are no mics, there are no cameras, there are no lights, he's not invited anywhere. He has become a nobody. And dear Khap Panchayats, you're doing the same for Satyapal Malik. If you really want Satyapal Malik to grow, I would request you, with folded hands, please do not support him. Because whatever you touch turns to ash. You finished off Rakesh Taket. Yes, you, Khap Panchayats. You finished Rakesh Taket, and now you're planning to finish Satyapal Malik. He has got every right or wrong. I mean, I can disagree with him, and I certainly do. But he has got every right to say what he's saying. But please don't destroy his political career, because he wants to become something, even at this late stage in life. And it's not wrong. It's not wrong. He should try for it. I support him that way. Every man should. But you are destroying him. Now, there are two questions that I have for Mr. Satyapal Malik. Your Excellency, in a presidential form of government like in JNK, a union territory, you are the Lieutenant Governor. You are the Lieutenant Governor of the union territory. There is no Chief Minister. You are the boss of the state. I want to ask you, sir, who does the CRPF and the JNK police report to? Even today, when His Excellency Manoj Sinha is the Lieutenant Governor of JNK, who does the JNK police and the CRPF report to? Please tell me. They report to the Lieutenant Governor. Even during your time, because it was President rule, they reported to you. You were their boss. You were the one who was controlling the CRPF and JNK police. Of course, the Indian Army has got a different line of reporting upstairs, and Indian Army works differently. But the CRPF and JNK police were pretty much under the Lieutenant Governor of the state. Aren't you responsible for Pulwama? One criminal, Atiq Ahmed, dies, and is killed. One criminal of whom everybody was fed up. And opposition parties start demanding the resignation of Yogi Adityanath, Honorable Chief Minister of UP. They say, no, Yogi ji must resign. Well, they have every right to ask for his resignation. But should we have also asked for your resignation? Because here is one criminal whose life was, is, and always will be absolutely worthless. Though he's dead, absolutely worthless. And here 40 of our brothers got martyred in Pulwama. Who was responsible? You were the Lieutenant Governor of the state, sir. You were the boss. Under your watch, Pulwama happened. Now, you can blame intelligence agencies, you can blame security agencies, but who was heading the state at that time? Who did those agencies report to? They reported to you. Wasn't it your fault? And then you're making up stories that Prime Minister Modi was in the middle of Jim Corbett Park and then he went to a dhaba, a small little eatery, got a landline. You make up these funny stories, Alif Laila stories out of thin air. Now the cops are supporting you. God bless you, sir. Please wear a helmet, because whoever the cops support, those guys politically don't last much longer. Politically, I'm saying, may God give you a very long life. Now, I'll move on from here. Chinese businesses are facing closure in Pakistan over security concerns. Now, Pakistan raised a whole lot of divisions. I think 1 or 2 divisions they raised. 2 divisions, almost 20,000 men they raised for the specific job of providing security to Chinese businesses. They have utterly failed. Chinese are being targeted regularly. Recently, they burned down that dam, Dasu Dam, where the Chinese were earlier killed in an attack, which Sheikh Rashid at that time said that the air conditioning exploded and therefore the Chinese died. First case in the world where a car's air conditioning explodes and people die. But, well, it's Pakistan, anything can happen. That same Dasu project was burnt to the ground. Their offices, their residential complex and their warehouses, they were burnt to the ground. And the Pakistani army could not protect the Chinese. Now, Chinese themselves are leaving, and some of the smaller businesses, Pakistanis are shutting down, bluntly telling the Chinese that, boss, look, we cannot provide security to you any longer. This is out of control. We can't defend ourselves. Let me ask you a simple question. How can the Pakistani army defend the Chinese when it can't even defend itself? Every day, Pakistani army people are getting killed by the terrorists and by Baloch freedom fighters. How can they protect the Chinese when they can't protect themselves, right? Another incident, there's this Chinese guy who's been accused of blasphemy, and they say that he has said, he's uttered insults against Prophet Muhammad. So here's the photograph of the Chinese guy. Now, this is what I call munafiqat or hypocrisy of the Pakistanis. You see what the Pakistanis did? As soon as they came to know that this guy who has done this blasphemy is Chinese, they quickly requisitioned for a Pakistan Army helicopter. And they ferried him away to safety. When the same thing was done, and it was just suspected, it was not even done, it was just a simple suspicion. When the same thing was suspected of a Sri Lankan manager who was working in some godforsaken city of Pakistan, somewhere in the interiors, this guy was working. They beat him to death, and before he died, they sprinkled petrol on him and they burnt him alive. So when he was being burnt, he was still alive. He was still conscious, and they burnt him to death. This is the punishment for blasphemy in Pakistan. But it depends on your nationality. It depends on from where Pakistanis want dollars. Pakistanis did not want dollars from the Sri Lankans, so they killed the Sri Lankan. But Pakistanis want dollars from the Chinese. And so a special VIP helicopter of the Pakistani army comes and takes this man who's accused of blasphemy. They take him away to safety. And this is exactly what the Pakistanis did earlier also. When those cartoons of Prophet Muhammad were published and in Charlie Hebdo, and they were reprinted and all in France when they were reprinted. So Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan started this storm of protests 2 years back in Pakistan, and they started burning Lahore to the ground. There was damage caused in so many cities across Pakistan, especially in Pakistani Punjab. There were massive protests. People died in police firings. People lost their lives. I still remember those images on social media and on Pakistani mainstream media. People losing their lives, police firing and all that. All that happened. And Pakistan said that, we must throw out the French ambassador and cut off all ties, all diplomatic ties with the French. And throw out the French ambassador, till somebody walked up and said, you have no French ambassador in Pakistan. France never appointed anybody, so they were taken aback. They were demanding the dismissal of a guy who did not exist. Anyway, so what happened was that everything was fast and furious. in the best possible Pakistani manner. Death to the French, death to this, death to that, death falana, death this. They started screaming these slogans, these Pakistanis. And one day the French got up and said, hey, listen, yeah, you're drowning because of the floods. No, you're drowning here. Let's help you. So the Pakistanis go to the French and say, okay, how much? This around, let's say, 325 million US dollars. Wow. The French are our brothers. The French are our best friends. Pakistan took money from France. Pakistan took $325 million, and all those things, all those accusations about insult to the Prophet Muhammad and insult to Islam and insult to Quran, they were all forgotten. Because this is the true nature of the Pakistan state. You know, they kill the helpless. They kill those who cannot help them. You know, help the Pakistan. If you cannot help the Pakistanis, Pakistanis will kill you. But if they expect, or if they think that they can get dollars out of you, you know, they have done a France with China right now. All those blasphemy accusations are forgotten. Everything is forgotten because the Pakistanis have a unique taste for US dollars. The Chinese national ferried away in a special Pakistani army helicopter to safety. But the same treatment was not accorded to the Sri Lankan. You know, there was no police. Police was standing in the periphery. But here, the police appeared out of nowhere because it was Chinese. It was a Chinese guy. And the army appeared out of nowhere and a helicopter appeared out of nowhere. So, money talks. And in Pakistan, dollars talk. Dollars shout, dollars scream in Pakistan. So that is the story of the Chinese guy who was accused of blasphemy. Now, the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov, he begins a 2-day visit to India. And while India imports a lot of Russian oil in Indian rupees, the Russians are also looking to import stuff from India. And there is so much that India can export to them. Apart from IT, there is so much that India can export to Russia, and Russians will pay us in rubles, and that's just fine, you know. That's just fine. They accept rupees, we'll accept rubles, and we'll start a trade between two large countries. You know, one country is going to be the most populated in the world in 2023, that is India, and by landmass, Russia is the largest country in the world. So between these two largest countries, trade will start. They're talking about a free trade agreement. We'll trade in our local currencies, and we don't need dollars. You must have seen that video of the singer Mika, that famous Bollywood singer Mika. You know, and he said that, thank you Modi ji and God bless you, because Mika said that I'm standing in Doha, Qatar, and well, I'm able to buy stuff in Indian currency, and this is miraculous. So 18 countries have accepted Indian currency, my friends. 18 countries have accepted Indian currency and are willing to do trade in Indian currency, and you can go and buy stuff in Indian currency. Now, Indian currency for those 18 countries is as good as the US dollar, and this number will only increase. Let's say we get it to 30 or 40. Then Indian rupee essentially becomes an international currency. That is the day we're looking forward to. And Pakistan's envoy returns to Kabul after 4 months. You know, this guy Obedur Rahman Nizamani was almost killed. His bodyguard was killed, and this guy was attacked. And they deliberately, you know, Pakistanis deliberately send a guy, their charge d'affaires to Afghanistan, guy with a beard who looked like a Maulana, who was an expert in Islamic religious affairs. And this was Pakistan's pitch to Afghanistan, that you're Muslims, we are Muslims. So we are sending a guy who at least looks like a Maulana, even if he's not a Maulana. He looks like a Maulana, and, you know, that is how we can take a relationship forward. And the Taliban responded by staging an attack on him. I don't know whether the Taliban did it or the Islamic State did it, but somebody did it under the Taliban's watch, and this guy ran away for 4 months. Now he's being pushed and cajoled back into Afghanistan. Let's see what the future holds for him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. In the description box below, there is a link. Click on that link. A form will open. Fill up that form, and we will send you an invitation card so that you can attend the Chanakya Dialogues on 29th of April this month in New Delhi. The who's who of national security are going to be there. The who's who. And we look forward to welcoming you. I'll be there, and I look forward to catching up with you, chatting with you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.